Oh, hey, everybody. David here. It is Monday night, my Sunday night, and it's actually kind of early for me to be doing this, but I noticed some interesting things, and it's been an interesting day. Not as productive as I had wanted to be. However, I wanted to share a couple things. So, if you've been following along with the bot cycle missions, right now, that bot activated, it says 21 hours ago, but 21 hours ago is when I programmed it in, but activated about 10 o'clock today. And I've noticed that it's like at 4.32% ROI. And I'm considering of manually just kicking it out, but I want it to go a little bit higher. And it looks like it's going to be going a little higher. And I wanted to show you guys something. And let me turn this on here. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to bring up the bot decision making. I didn't want to do it that way. Hold on a second here. I wanted to show something interesting about the markets. So let me just wonder if I can do an overlay. I've never done an overlay before. Can I add? I should have tested out overlay before even doing this, but what we're seeing here right now, right, is this is XRP. And XRP is what I'm working through the mission 1 with on one of the bots. All right. So if you look at this, what are you seeing here? It looks like, well, we're climbing, right? We got a nice little dip earlier today, right? And I think the bot, when did this bot activate it? 37.55. So where was that? That was somewhere here. What was that? So, no, was that yesterday? What day is today? Today's the 20th, 1600. No, it was earlier today. Somewhere around here is where it activated, and it kind of went down. The bots were buying down and selling. It was in a little bit of profit here. Like, I think where did it first do it? Did it hit this one? No. Or was it? Yeah, here. So 9 this morning, it got activated. Actually, I can look up here and tell you when it first bought something. It has 50 orders in so far. Yeah, 9:46 a.m. is when it started. And anyway, it's kind of cool. What's interesting, let me switch this to Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin's the big leader, right? Let's see what it looks like. Bitcoin's kind of not as clean. I mean, the last 30 minutes, sure, but most of the day today, it's been kind of like doing this. This is the hourly. And yet XRP has been, I guess it looks pretty much the same, but if we look at the last, I don't know, let's just switch back to Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin's kind of been going sideways, but XRP has been going up. That's my point. It's out of sync. Let's look at Ethereum. See Ethereum, Bitcoin. Ethereum's actually going sideways and down kind of right now, a little bit of up, but look at XRP. It's going up. Why is that? Well, it's really interesting to me because this is like I've been noticing this, and I didn't consciously take a really close look at it. I want to go back in history with this. I think there's an overlay option, but I'm thinking that XRP might be partially inverse to what's going on with Ethereum and Bitcoin, which sort of makes sense to me because it's been decoupled. Well, I'm seeing news reports like Coinbase has already stated that they are going to immediately relist XRP if they win the SEC confrontation and stuff. So I'm tempted to just start another bot, maybe throw a couple $1,000s in it with what's called an infinity bot. No leverage. It just buys and sells as it goes up. 'Cause I think that's what might be happening. That's not advice, read the bottom. I'm not giving any advice. I'm just talking about what I'm gonna do. I just noticed this little thing, this little variance, but I'm very, very happy to see that the bot got activated. I think it took a day or 2. I set it up, over the weekend and then closed it and then restarted it last night. I reassessed the charts and, it's already up 4%. So that's kinda cool. Um, but it looks like it's just getting started, right? This is the, 3-hour here. It's one goes back up and tests 3,900, and I think this is set up to exit. I'll tell you exactly where I said at 39.87. So if it retests 40 cents, which it did a couple days ago. So anyway, and that'll be a nice return. And I'll probably complete that cycle and it'll probably rebalance me at 2% average per day. And then we'll be on to the next cycle. We'll probably be like, maybe a third of the way to completing mission 1, which is kind of right on track to the estimate. So anyway, I know it's kind of boring stuff. I don't think it's boring, but all right, because that's happening. So the next cycle is activated. That's a big thing. Excuse me. Um, so I wanted to check in what's next for me and what I'm doing here because I had a chance to assess the last week results and I've been literally broadcasting. I mean, like last week I was on 3 hours on Monday and stuff like that, but it's been about a week, a little over a week. We're pretty much twice a day because I know it says, almost daily, right? But it's been twice a day. I think one of my shortest casts was like 40 minutes and the longest was 3 hours, average being about an hour to hour and a half. And that was I enjoyed the pace of it. I think the market, it could be interesting to do a twice a day market assessment if we were doing active trading together or people are following that along. But the whole bot thing, it's just like it gets repetitive because it's the same golf swing every time you reset the bot. The numbers are increasing, going to be completing mission 1. And then what do? Well, we go on to mission 2. And that's going to be a year-long process, right? And unless I increase the leverage and stuff, or it turns into a bull run, then I think it'll accelerate. But there's really not that much new to talk about day to day, twice a day for 3 hours a day. So I think I'm going to focus more on creating the training content moving forward than doing the check-in twice a day. Now, if I would have woke up today to find 100 or 1,000 people to check things out and watch the videos and join Patreon, then I'd like, okay, well, I would poll everybody, but that didn't happen. And that was kind of my sign that, okay, I enjoy doing this. I'm getting better at doing this, but this is not going to get me an acceleration to free up my time by doing these broadcasts. Because in order for me to have the impact that I want to do, there's a lot of content and courses I want to take, which brings me to what I want to talk about. So I had a consulting Zoom call today with a company that specializes in education content and marketing stuff. Yeah, we're just growing. I love it. Um, and they had a great presentation, and I think I'm an excellent client candidate for them. And what they were marketing in terms of, well, this is what the cost would be. There was a little bit of bait and switch around it, but long story short, it's a 3-month program. It's $10,000 plus you need another $1,000, about $11,000 to make it work. But you're outsourcing. It's not like buying an educational thing. It's like you're outsourcing to a team of experts that know what they're doing. And I'm like, well, God, I could go over and get rid of some of my crypto and stuff and maybe liquidate or something like that. I don't want to do that. So I'm asking myself, well, how can I make that work? Which is kind of what I wanted to share here with you. Because, based on what they were talking about, like I have this passion. In fact, it's been on the thing, I want to do this relationship series. Well, I learned some things today where the relationship topics that I have to teach people are oddly interesting niche or sub niche is in each one of them that really could make a difference in people's lives. And I was just thinking of just how to end a marriage is a sub niche. And I know how much money people who go to battle with divorce lawyers and stuff spend. What if there's a better way that, and you didn't have all that trauma and drama if you just changed the context of how to end a relationship? And I know how to do that. And I don't know anyone doing my model other than me. I did it in my life. And I think that has value. Like, two people are about to spend $250,000 in retainers plus another $100,000 on top of that to go to battle for the next couple of years. You know, maybe I should just do the consulting gig and just say, listen, if you want, I just want a 20% tip of what I'm saving you in fees. Not giving legal advice, just giving you a different way to end your relationship. And that's $100,000. And, that sort of impact on money people are already going to throw away and then have an evil experience, a nightmarish experience in their lives. Even if they have lots of money, they can be like Johnny Depp and whatever lady person and just go to battle and just spend millions of dollars. They can afford it, right? It's a soul crushing evil experience. I don't think it's necessary. So just something I'm thinking about is like, well, I could create a course that, s- so like cryptocurrency is an active market that's constantly changing. So I can create an introductory course. I can teach you how to do the password thing, the security thing. I can teach about financial empowerment and financial sovereignty, but those are actively changing things. And to be honest, my heart's there, but my heart is more in me actually doing it. And then, I've already fulfilled my obligation to the universe kind of thing. I've taught several other people what I know, and then I'm evolving what I know. And those people have an inside track to what it is that I know. Do I need to make that available to the rest of the world? Yeah, I know there's going to be a gold rush thing. People are going to be selling a ton of how-to information, and most of it is just the same old training over the last 30, 40 years for anyone doing day trading. And it'll work during a bull run. But what I have, it works better during a bull run, safer than a bull run, because the bull run will come to an end, or they'll have moments where people are consolidating and people will be at risk. And anyway, I prefer my approach to anything that I've paid money to learn. And other people who have learned it would agree with me on that. But how do I convince that to you? How do I sell that? I just it's not by the time I get the data together, the market will have changed. By the time and it's just different. But relationship stuff, the stuff that I've been deploying for myself in my own life, I've been doing for a decade, and it's really hasn't changed much in terms of how I would advise someone to find a relationship, how to restore a relationship, how to heal a relationship. And then there's sub things like they're like, what if someone's trapped in a relationship where there's domestic violence and they're wanting to end it? And just like, well, no one wants to really address that and give the information. And the people that are trapped in it, it's almost not safe for them to seek out the information. So that's a later project type of thing. That's like they have like $200 million and a team of folks that address. There's 400 pieces of case law that empower that. And the last time I went after that, I had a freak accident that disrupted that. So I'm not so keen that maybe that's not supposed to be a problem that's solved anytime soon. I don't know. But how to end a relationship with integrity without all the drama and craziness? I think I got something really, really valuable there. A different method for finding a relationship. I think I have an incredible approach to that that took me most of my lifetime to figure out. And I've privately coached some folks around that stuff, and it seems to be all right. But I think there's real value there compared to the stuff I'm seeing being marketed. Yeah, just and, I think part of it is watching. Diane and I are watching the marriage. Let's see, Marriage at First Sight. It's going on its was it 16th season. It's really great, interesting entertainment. And this is like it's an arranged marriage where you've got like a kind of a progressive Christian pastor involved. You've got a relationship and marriage therapist and a sex therapist, and we have these two women, one dude team that are, matching people up, and they have this experiment and things, and the people get married, that they meet each other on their wedding day, and it's an interesting process, right? But statistically, right now, so far, they've only had a 20% success rate. Yeah. With all the psychology, sociologists, degreed people working as a team, 20%. And the ones that are working out are surprising, so which is really kind of interesting. So it's an incredible experiment in the human condition. And I've also enjoyed watching Love Is Blind. We enjoy watching that too. And if you were to talk to Diane, she's like, David is always like, this is what they're missing. This is what they're missing. This is what they're missing. This is what it's the same thing, no matter what the show is. And they're missing the same things. And it's just like, and I just watched how they went through all this intensive, like New Orleans, they had 70,000 applicants to do this. And then they had to narrow it down to 100 men and 100 women. And then they had to narrow it down to 50. And then they had to narrow it down to 5. And I'm like, wow, wow. Now, granted, there's a lot of folks, based on what I'm seeing, have issues that need to be worked out in counseling, stuff like that. And that's part of their process is they have counseling things available. And they're matching up based on whatever the research things and stuff like that is. And it's just like, but they have a 20%, um, they only have a 20% success rate so far. And it's just it's really interesting and entertaining. If you're into sociology type of thing. So I'm thinking we're coming up on a bull run, and it almost seems pretty obvious. Oh, we just had a spike up. How high did it go? 38, 36. Ooh, I might be out before bedtime tonight. Nice. With the bot. So but I'm thinking, whether regardless of the age of the relationship or the person looking for a relationship, we have different cycles in life, and there's different things that we experience, but we don't prepare young people for those cycles in life unless they're in certain belief systems. I'm not going to get into that. It's just, it is what it is, right? And I think people are unprepared for the rigors of relationship. They're unprepared for parenting, and they're literally set up for failure. And their failure feeds a huge industry. It's kind of like, not eating well and being marketed chips, and all the psychology behind food addictions leads to very profitable healthcare or disease management later on in life. And these are I see them as systems. We could argue about whether they were deliberate, did they have a meaning back in the 30s? And, we could discuss and explore all that. But whatever that is, we are aware of the fact that these are systems that feed on pain and suffering, that lead to more pain and suffering, that profit entire industries. And I don't think I can change all that, but I think I can create an entry level product to test that, which I believe with what I've learned over the last 72 hours, um, I don't necessarily need the experts for $11,000, but I want to hire the experts for $11,000. And I don't want to take out any of the money that I have working for me anywhere in the world right now. Okay. I don't want to do that. I can't get a raise or promotion that will cover that $11,000 that I want. I don't expect to win the lottery anytime soon. And doing these videos on YouTube or broadcasting to Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, probably not going to get me to $11,000 anytime soon. It's kind of a long game plan. I think there's value here. There's a market there, and I know how to get there. Like rolling out shorts and building an audience, blah blah blah. But if I want to like start bring this consulting team in the next, let's say by maybe April 1st or 2nd or mid-April or next week, how am I going to get there? How am I going to do that? Look at borrowing money, and that is an option. It's just that I have already borrowed money to set up to do what I'm doing right here. It's just a remarkable amount of money to get these tools put together. And, I have a plan for paying that off and things and stuff like that. And now it's just like, well, I want another $11,000 and I want $11,000 now. How am I going to get it? Which I thought, well, let's explore what's possible. Ha 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 ha. So I'm going to let you in on it. I'll show you what I did. So I have this spreadsheet, as all of you know. You've probably seen this, right? The mission spreadsheet. Let me see if I can switch this. I'm going to try something I haven't done before. I want to see if I can. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I'm just going to share this all by itself and see what that does. It's about the same. You just don't have the charts in the background. Let me see if I can I make this fit better? No, it auto sign. Oh, this is even worse because never mind. Let's go back to sharing the whole screen. All right, I've always wanted to do that. That didn't work. So let's go back to something different. Let's go back to, we're not going to do that. Let's just go back sharing the entire screen. All right. All right, so let me see if I can zoom in on this. All right, zooming in on this might work. All right, let's turn this on. So I'm asking myself, okay, I'm thinking, what are my options? And I'm still in this thought process. There's other options. I've decided I don't want to go into debt for this. I want to just pay for this process cash, right? So I've got $100 in an account that's got 200x leverage, and we're just starting to get maybe a bull run going on. Now, I have to do some research into the price action movements because I want to be in and out on a 3-minute cycle. But if I can identify an asset class that has 200x leverage that is constantly cycling 1% movements, I only need a 0.5% movement to double my money per trade. I don't even have a spreadsheet for that. But this is how my brain's thinking. It's like, how can I? So I know I can do the missions. I know I've done missions starting from $1. I'm right in the middle of doing missions starting right with $250, right? I'm $82.86 away, right, from completing mission 1 with this low leverage bot exercise. And it looks like we'll probably be adding another $30 to that maybe by midnight tonight when that little rally hits. That usually happens around midnight. Oh, we're so close. It only has to go up like a penny and a half now. And boom, done. So what I did is I took this explore missions here and I just duplicated the sheet, which gave me, see, it says copy of explore missions. I changed the date to starting tomorrow. It probably won't start tomorrow because I've got to do some analysis probably tomorrow morning on the exchange and see if I can get the right charting and stuff. Because in order to do 200x trading, I need to have 1, 5, and 15-second data feed. And I have paid for the data feed, but if I don't have access to the same futures data that the exchange is working off of, I have to figure out what the offset is, which is one of the things I want to mention. I had forgotten yesterday. I saw some trades setting up. The markets were starting to move kind of nice, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna do a little baby beast mode trade. which was with Ethereum. I should have went with Bitcoin, but I hopped in. I set the whole trade up, and everything just played like clockwork, except for one thing. I made a simple, I kind of a dum-dum error for me. Um, the charts that I'm watching are Binance perpetual. So what's really kind of weird is I can, through TradingView, I don't have access to Kucoin's futures markets. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why. I've been complaining about it for years. But there's usually an offset. As long as you know what the offset is, it's really easy enough. You figure out your plan here, and then you validate it through the KuCoin charting before you execute. I failed to do that. And sure enough, the thing dipped, got in, and went up. And I'm like, why am I not out? Well, there was a $1 offset. I was off by $1. So now I'm stuck in a trade for 24 hours. Yeah, it took my I do what's called a safety trade, and I lower the leverage and stuff. It's not a big deal. It was a very small trade. It was only like zero point 0.1 ETH. I know I teach testing with 0.01 ETH, but I was just like, well, I'm going to do this. Might as well just scalp a little bit of money, right? 0.01 ETH. So anyway, um, I was so proud of myself. So I can demonstrate, man, I haven't been trading in a while, and I just stepped right back into it, and I made a dum dum. Anyway, so but I know how to handle it, right? I know how to deal with it, and the market's gone down since then, last 24 hours, which I figured it was going to, because I was going to just jump back in and just, wait for it to bottom out, get back in. Patience is profit, all that sort of stuff. So it just is amusing to me. But see, that's one of the things I have to teach somebody is like, well, how can you safely trade at 75x or 100x or 200x? How can you do that? How can you do that without taking any losses? That's not possible, David. Well, it is possible if you have the right strategy. So I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, well, if I were to start tomorrow and I were to complete a mission a day, right? So, I'm thinking that'd be 3 trades a day with my typical profit per trade of 33%. I could complete 1 mission a day. And doing 3 trades a day is not a big deal. But could I do it with 1 mission a day? Am I that good? I don't know. If I find the right asset class doing the right patterns, yeah, easy. I'd probably maybe do I could probably it'd probably for me to do the 3 a day. But if I were to do that, in order to get the funds, cash necessary, not taking into consideration taxes, but the money that I raise, I'm gonna spend on business stuff, so it kind of neutralizes it. Um, it's 7 missions. And I'll have looks like an extra $1,000 more than I would need. So that's not bad. 7 missions. So could I do a mission a day is the question. And if I could do a mission a day, should I just maybe go to 10 or 11 missions? Just, what's an extra couple days? This is financial empowerment. The fact that I can sit there and have this conversation with myself saying, well, I wonder if I could do that. I could probably do that. I know that I can do the 10 missions across 2 months in a bear market, but how fast could I do it in a bull run? I don't know. Could I do that in 9 days at my skill level with what I know how to do with 200x leverage? Yeah, it's within the realm of possibility. So this is financial empowerment. It's my attitude. It's like me asking, well, I wonder how I could do that. I looked at all the other stuff and it just didn't feel right. Feel comfortable. You know what felt comfortable? Paying cash. And I'm looking at that and saying, well, if I just did it to this level, I could just pay off all my debts too on that. Instead of, the other mission, right? Uh, um, where is this? This mission which I'm still waiting to complete the cycles for, right? I'm still waiting to see what it takes for me to complete a mission 1 with these low leverage bots, right? And it's like, it's going to happen, right? There's no doubt about it happening. I've already crossed the halfway mark. Um, and will I get better over time if we're in a bull run? But, this isn't gonna I'm not gonna complete 7 missions, right, in the next 7 days with bots. I don't have enough leverage to do it. I don't think I could. I could run some scenarios. But this is about how you explore what's possible. Another option I have is I could write one of the niches that I've already pretty much have done. There's several of them about the relationships. One of the issues I've had is like I want to write the entire system. And all I really need to do is say, well, where's one problem that I could solve with what I know with stuff that I've already written? And actually, I think I've learned how to reach that audience. And I could charge $500 for what that is or higher. Anyway, I can work backwards from there. Like, well, you know, what is that? I'm just going to come in here and just, if I want $11,000, right? And selling something that's, let's say, $500. Sure. Oh, is it the comma? I think it's the comma. 22. So 22. So let's see here with just the baseline. So 22 with what I learned today. In order to make those 22 sales at $500, it's probably going to cost me about $1,100 in advertising. Yeah. Maybe I just do that first because that's in alignment with what I'd be hiring the quote unquote experts for. And then maybe in the process of creating the funds, yeah, this is kind of making my face glow. Um, I may realize that I don't need to spend $11,000 on their team. I can actually hire out the different things and develop my own team. I don't know. But I'm thinking about that because the more I've been working with this and like during the last week, running these things and running. See, every time I do these things, I'm rerunning the numbers. But before I go live, I've looked and checked numbers, and it's really gotten me thinking about what's possible. It's one of the most powerful things I teach people that they don't even realize how important it is once you see the light at the end of the tunnel, man, your subconscious mind, all of your brain starts figuring out different ways of how to get things done. And I have to remind myself, I enjoy doing so much, and I'm a very curious person. Um, but what is my goal? Why am I doing this? Right. Well, the big goal is I want to create an international organization of wealthy people that want to change their world. And through them changing their world, our world changes. But that's not going to happen in the next 10 days. That's not going to happen maybe in the next year. That might be like David will spend the next 20 years of his life working on that one. And wow, look at it go 30, 40, go. Come on, test 40 while we're talking here today. That'd be awesome. I mean, this looks like it wants to go up to look, it tested what 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago, not 72 hours, 60 some hours ago, it tested 40. Kind of excited. It's like it's mixed signals, right? Because it's 30 minutes saying, well, we're coming down, but it's coming down. It's already touched the middle Bollinger Band, right? Hourly touched the middle Bollinger Band, but the weekly, it's turned from light green to dark green and it's going up. The stars have not aligned. And, down here, we're looking at what, the 30 minute, 1 hour. Oh, this is the 12-hour up here. 3-hour, 6-hour. Well, this is like pushing through. It's wanting to push through. It's kind of exciting. It's kind of weird. It's like we have green over here, and here we have a MACD that's gaining momentum, and over here on the 6-hour, it looks like it's pushing down or was pushing down. Oh, but look, it's at the middle Bollinger Band. I don't think it wants to travel down further. I think it wants to travel back up and retest over the next few days. And it looks like it might try to do a test of 40 cents tonight, in which case my bot will exit and I'll be able to update that. All right. So, is there anything else I want to talk about? So, what I'm saying right now, all right, is what's next. I don't think, well, I'll probably still do some of these, but I'm just going to do them on YouTube. I'm not going to broadcast them. I think my friends on Facebook and stuff like that are kind of like, they're kind of done seeing, oh, David's live again, right? And the Twitch is kind of cool. Oh, someone tuned in. But I've really, during the last week, I've shared so much information. I need to go through it and consolidate it into training. But right now the bot's activated. I'm probably going to be out of the bot by 1 o'clock tonight. We're going to complete that cycle. I'm going to put it in the spreadsheet like you've seen me do all week. All right. I know it's got to be like boring, right? But you're seeing it coming together. You're seeing this mission one complete. So I think I'm going to do is rather than like give you, twice a day check in, I'm just going to like when the cycle completes, I'll probably just pop in, do a cycle check in report. And then when we complete the mission, we'll maybe recap the spreadsheet and it's not going to be twice a day. It's just a little bit too much for me to do that because I've been averaging twice a day, 1.5 hours each. That's 3 hours of broadcasting. And before each broadcast, it's like 30 minutes to an hour of prep. And it's just like, I can't do that with an audience of 1 to 2 or a Patreon subscribership of 1. So I'm going to continue to work on the courses, right? And continue to do that sort of thing. This stuff is evergreen. It's like the last week is all there, but I'm going to be using the tools to clean up the training, pull out the training pieces to consolidate it into actual training. Like I pretty much got the security piece done, like, how to get started. I have a to-do list for like, if you don't have accounts set up or you do have accounts set up, the security piece will give you peace of mind of not getting robbed. And everyone should go through my security thing, whether you're in crypto or not, because you shouldn't have to worry about your online world. And I do some things that's not being taught, like simple ciphers on key data. So, like if someone were to hack my LastPass, for example, and they were to get into something that requires double authentication, and they were to get my key phrases, right? Well, they could unlock my wallet anywhere in the world and liquidate any funds that I have in those wallets, right? That's your big risk. Well, where are you going to store that safely? There is no safe place to store it. That's the problem. But what the hacker doesn't know is that I have a cipher system that's not written down or documented anywhere. And I teach people how to create their own cipher system that they can keep in their memory, or they can deploy it in their physical environment to give them a memory tag so that if they, like, say, have a concussion and they can't remember the little note that they had on themselves that says, David, you should know this, but you have a concussion and you can't remember what it is. I'm still trying to unlock a Monero wallet, by the way. There's $350 stuck in it because I didn't document the cipher in a way that would have enabled me after having a brain injury to figure it out. But I figured out a method of doing it. So even if I had a brain injury, I'd be able to figure it out. That in itself is an interesting training and course. So that's already kind of available. I think I'll have to double check. If I didn't make it available, it's because I think that's one of the first things I'm working on. But anyway, I'm going to be focusing on getting that stuff in place. There's going to be a bull run soon. In fact, the analytics company that we have literally bought a lifetime subscription to in 2021, we spent $14,000, $15,000 on it. Said we're in a bull run. They're officially declaring it. And I'm like, well, I'm not seeing it. I think I'll see it more when we hit 30 and stay and go above that. I think it's what everyone's psychologically waiting for. All the news is we'll do 28, 28, but really the psychological thing is 30. Man, if you don't know how to trade right now is a great time to get that bull run and just do that 0.01 ETH stuff and just high leverage, and the market will teach you. And you'll learn so much, and just throw $5 at it, and you can just learn by doing. And if you end up with a question or something like that, hit me up. I don't have an audience of 10,000 people here asking me questions. So reach out to me. I hang out on Facebook a lot, and I'm working on the YouTube channel, and I'm trying to drive the traffic to the YouTube channel because I want to get it monetized. So if folks tune into it there, it supports the project. But right now, I'm going to back away from doing the 2 broadcasts a day, and I'm going to focus on extracting the information that I've done in the last week to get that getting started piece together. And I'm excited about that because that stuff is ever important. Now, security may change over time. You have to evolve the security. And that's okay. I don't mind it. But what I teach people with security, most of the government folks aren't doing what I'm doing. And I think most of them are doing security wrong. That's my opinion. And then what's being taught to the general public, there's so many simpler ways of handling things, but you know what? That's okay. It's one of my specialties. Um, I go back before there were security certificates and stuff. I solved the problem for the federal government. They were about to spend millions of dollars on a very complex security system. And I just said, well, why don't you just use PC Anywhere with a dial back number that doesn't answer the phone? You put in a code while it's ringing type of thing. And it only dials back to one phone number. How are you going to hack that? You're going to have to literally reroute a call. Good luck. And it saved the government millions, and it was a very simple solution for the time. And, I didn't go to any advanced training for that. It was just common sense to me. I understood how the process works. I understood where the vulnerabilities were. So I created a process with the technology that was available that was simple. And usually simple is really hard to hack, right? If your computer is unplugged from the internet, right, can't be hacked. Can't dial out. Can't, you could have a virus on there grabbing data, but if it doesn't have a way of broadcast, depending on what the security need is, there's really usually a simple solution. And most of us, the fear that they're throwing at us every day is just crazy. But it's all right. That's why I didn't worry about anything when LastPass got hacked. Like they're an enterprise level company, and I was shocked that they got hacked. And they were shocked they got hacked. But it was it was an insider I think it was a reverse social engineering attack because that's usually at that level the only thing that's going to work. It's going to take an insider to accidentally do so. Anyways, whatever it is, right? So they have these millions of accounts of data out there that's vulnerable. Well, guess what? They still it's all like major encryption, right? It's huge encryption. So I was just thinking if I was a hacker and I got all this data, well, what would I go about it? Well, I probably don't have mainframe processing resources. What I really need is I need quantum computing resources to break into these systems, right? But there's too many. So I'd need to find out, well, who's got something that would be of value, right? And they're probably just wanting to sell the information. But if you're really going after someone's cryptocurrency wallets, or some corporation's bank account, stuff like that, right? How do you get into it? Well, let's say you did get into it. Let's say they got into mine. They don't know my key. So the words that they're trying to figure out to unlock my wallet aren't valid because they don't know what my cipher is. And they'll never find out without me giving it to them. And it's a very simple, easy to do thing. And there's so many fun ways of, I don't know, creating an Easter egg hunt. So if you're thinking like legacy planning for heirs and stuff like that, you can literally there's so many cool ways of doing this. It actually makes security kind of fun. Um, that's if you want to have sovereignty with what you're passing on to your heir. Your government doesn't want you to have sovereignty. They want to approve. If you're giving away your tie, they want you to go in front of a judge and say, Judge, my dad wanted me to have this tie. And you need to have a lawyer in that court, and they present to the judge, just, okay, young man, you can have your father's tie. Is there anything else you need today? Good. Let me come back to court when you want to take something else out of the estate. And then milks the estates. It's crazy, the systems that we have up. And even wealthy people don't know how to use trust properly or sovereignty. And it's just crazy. And yet there's simple solutions, simple legal solutions. And that's a whole nother module too. I talk about empowerment. The empowerment is what I talked about earlier today, which is like, well, I want to raise $11,000 to buy this consulting group to help me package a course on relationship to market it. Because it's not that I don't know what they do. I want to outsource that team versus developing a team myself right now. But I don't want to borrow the $11,000, and I don't want to take $11,000 out of my crypto accounts, and I don't want to take, I don't want to do it that way. Well, what do I want to do? Well, I was looking at a spreadsheet saying, well, I've got $100 in this one account where it's got 200x leverage. I'm wondering, could I do a mission a day? It'll only take me like seven days to do a mission a day. Can I do it? I'm going to be running those numbers probably the next couple of days. If I can do that, I'll just take the $100, turn it into $12,800, and then just do it. It'll take me a week maybe. Can I do it? I don't know. Will the market allow me to do it? It all depends whether or not I can identify the movements. So at 100x leverage, I want to see 1% movement cycling happening all the time, where I can be in and out of the trade in like less than 3 minutes, ideally. Now, but at 200x, I only need half a percentage of a movement. So what is cycling? What assets are cycling through? Like XRP right now, it's telling me today it's cycled 2.38%, right? So I could easily have gotten one mission done with that kind of cycling. It'd been better if it was cycling through a range, but how many times is that cycling per hour, right? And at what time? Well, does it do it during a time when I'm awake? So these are all questions that, as a strategist, as a planner, when I want to get something done, when you hear me say all these spreadsheets, right? What do they all say? Let's explore what's possible. That's like one of the most important foundational messages I'm giving everybody. It's like, well, most people never take the time to actually ask themselves, how could I do this? Well, I could borrow money. I could take money out of my assets. I could do this. I could do that. I could call my Uncle Bill. I don't have an Uncle Bill. I'm just saying that, some people do. There's all this stuff. And it's like, well, what do I want? What am I willing to do now? Oh, well, I'm not willing to do this. Well, what am I? Well, I want to pay cash. Well, how can I pay cash? It's a process of going through what is possible. And for every one of us, that's different, depending on our family, our relationship, our business connections, where our money's tied up or not tied up. Do we have access to different things that we could borrow money and then repay? I mean, I don't know. But the process is what's important. And most people never learn the process. They never learn the process that they are so empowered to create what's next. Um, they're looking for the lotto win. And then they're spending gobs and gobs. Why do I know this? Because I spend gobs and gobs of money looking for somebody to teach them a shortcut. And the real shortcut is actually to just spend some time with yourself and explore what's possible. And then if you find some training that resonates, that can help you develop a skill or participate in something that will get you to where you want to be. Sometimes it's a cash flow issue. Sometimes it's I need money now issue. Sometimes you just need a big lump sum issue. And just like we have issues in our society, the way we run things. So, oh man, I was just hoping we touch 40 while I'm talking here, but it's pushing on 39. So anyway, so that's what I've got going. That's what I've got coming up. My work week begins tomorrow. So I'm back to my normal regular job and back on a swing shift. And I'm probably going to be exploring how to raise that $11,000 through trading is what I'm thinking I'm going to want to do. And I'm going to continue to do the bots. So when the cycle is complete, I'm probably going to pop in here. I'm going to pop in on YouTube. Okay. And I'm going to put the update on YouTube because I just really need to simplify this because I just can't track 5 different platforms. I'm a one person show at this point. I don't have staff like everyone else does. So that's what my plan is. That could change. And I might just, get in the mood to come on and broadcast to everybody. That can happen. But I want to, because I've been broadcasting twice a day for like a week and people have been tuning in here and there. I just want to give everyone a heads up where my head's at tonight, and I could change tomorrow, right? But the biggest thing I need to do is I need to free up my time so I can get these courses written so we can start changing the world through the organization. But I have to remind myself that that's not going to happen next week or next month or even next year. I mean, it could, but I do not see anything trending that would give me an indication that that's in reality right now. So I have to focus in on ask myself, well, how can I get there from point A to point B? I know what my timelines are for the next 14 months. I know what I want to do in terms of consulting, business stuff, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I'm asking myself, and I'm sharing most of that tonight is my process, is how do I go from, okay, I don't know how to get there from here to how do I get there from here? And then I take action and then I usually get there, whatever that action is. And I've never leaped well, I don't think I can't say that. I may have leaped through the missions during my first 2 months of trading after my first liquidation based on how sizable I grew my accounts and the timelines I was in, but I wasn't tracking it like this. I was just a crazy person who had an idea, and I was doing it during a bull market, and man, did it work really, really well. Until China shut off a third of its power grid, and I was not prepared for that, and I laughed because I had already become financially empowered at that point. I already knew, like, well, that was weird, and, so I started creating, asking myself how questions. Well, I'm worried about having a tax liability. How can I do this inside of a tax thing where I don't have to fill out a big complicated tax thing? I don't want to be a professional trader status. I don't. It's not about that. They destroyed all our tax deductions as small business people anyway. Thank you, the whatever party that did that. You know, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I don't want to. I can get into the political thing, but I don't want to. But I'm just saying is they really they destroyed the incentives for real estate. You used to be able to take your interest off your taxes and offset your taxes. Can't do that anymore. You're limited to $3,000 a year of losses, right, to offset W-2 income. I mean, they really just if you're just a small business person, they just destroyed, any kind of initiative for, deficit spending in business. So, like, well, you can roll it forward. Like, that doesn't help you this year. It was some of the most anti-business legislation tax crap from the party that's supposed to be pro-business, but they're not pro-small business. They're pro-big business. And big business doesn't want hard and fast competition from small business. And boy, did they hamstring America, in my opinion. So, for me, it's like, do I even want to stay a citizen? Do I want to relocate to another country? Well, what are those processes? Well, there's a book that's about this thick that goes into all that sort of thing, or dual citizenship. So these are all things that I'm exploring as anyone that wants freedom and liberty as a world citizen really needs to look at. All your wealthy, famous people, man, they've got their dual citizenship. They're going to South America. They're, for about $250,000, you can pretty much get a citizenship anywhere where you can have freedom and liberty. And then the wealthy are not restricted the way we citizens are. And wealthy from other countries can come here and buy our land and participate in buying our stocks and stuff. And they're free to do that at a distance as long as they're not starting a US based business. you know, they don't pay taxes, although they can own land here. I guess they pay property taxes, but we are America's up for sale. It's kind of sad because the citizenship isn't being protected. And it's not the things we're hearing about the politics arguing about either. I mean, that stuff is all real too, but we lost a lot and no one's talking about it because most of us aren't even thinking at that level. And I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I have to focus on, like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna be 59 years old this year, and, I'm facing retirement coming up. They want me to work to age 70 now. I dialed in a Social Security. I guess full benefits for me, I thought it was 65. I was born and raised, work till age 65, David, right? And it was 64, but apparently it's 67 now. And then the benefit isn't really that great. I've got other plans for that in place anyway, but when I finally logged in, they send me a thing and I went in and said, wow, I have an account. I go, well, look, they track, oh, they know how much money I made last year. Look at this. They have all this information. And after all my lifetime, and now it says 65, instead of going to 64 or 62 for retirement, it's 67. But if you really want, the bigger money, it's 70. But what's my lifespan as a type 2 diabetic? It's like, wow, this system is really, really rigged when you look at the numbers. Why wasn't I looking at these numbers when I was 20 or 30? Yeah. Well, I was 20 or 30. That's why. It's gonna live forever, right? That's what 20 and 30-year-olds think. I remember what it's like, and it's like, wow. Somewhere around age 55 or having an auto accident that scrambles your brain a little bit, suddenly, whoa, I need to start thinking about this stuff. And you blink and you're like facing 60 years old. It's like, when did that happen? Ah, it's kind of weird growing older. I'm kind of a fun-loving guy growing older, so I've always enjoyed every age of my life, and I'm gonna have fun as an older person, but, the finances have gotta work. And right now, when I know what I'm capable of, what I'm doing right now, and I think of how most of my fellow citizens are and what they're facing, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." That's why I need to, like, train people how to do what I do so they can have that empowerment because you know, when I hear, "Oh, they're talking about, a cost of living raise for Social Security," and I see the numbers that they're talking about, it's like, um, you know what? In my little apartment complex, which is nothing fancy in little old Kaiser, Oregon, and there's a lot of old folks living here, right? And we're kind of a lower, form of, cost. They're jacking the price up just the legal maximum across 13 months, and it's rent controlled, is just under 25% increase. It's insane. I don't know of anyone on Social Security that's gonna be getting a 25% increase over retroactive 13 months. So where's that money gonna come from? For them just to rent a little nice little apartment. Yeah, we got a serious, serious problem. Why? They're coming after all those old people's assets. That's my conspiracy theory. So, I don't know. I wanna teach people what I know how to do so they don't have to face that. They don't have to face that. And a lot of folks are thinking about, they want to retire and play golf and tour the world. And I've met people that do that. And what they do is they blow through their retirement, even if it's 300,000 or $1 million. They usually blow through it in their first 3 to 4 years of retirement. Yeah. I could name names. I give you a list. People have done it right. Tech people that I know personally. And they're just like, they had no idea. And then, what really hurts them is they didn't retire with a purpose other than to play golf and go on tours and stuff. That's not purpose. That's not something that gives you a reason to get up in the morning. And it's really, really sad what happens to people that retire without a purpose. And that's a whole nother thing I could write a course on. And I've helped a lot of them think a little bit differently. And I know one of them I think is going to re-engage with life. And he's like, is he 70? I don't know. Maybe 70. But anyway, um, we've got some serious issues we're facing here in the United States and around the world. And I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my level best to not only create the information to help inspire people to think differently, to solve these problems, provide some really interesting things maybe to talk about, but really train a whole new ruling elite, whether they're already rich or a homeless person is going to become wealthy in less than 36 months or something, playing with bots or learning the high leverage trading if they still have access to it, being able to do that as a U.S. citizen. Um, because we're in a global world right now. So all the wealthy corporations of America, they've participated in global economics and stuff for decades, which is why they've leapfrogged in their net worth and stuff. And cryptocurrency has opened up that level of diversification as well as the technology. Like when this where I'm posting on YouTube and on I don't know if Twitch is global or not or Facebook. These are all global platforms. Literally, someone could tune into my YouTube and learn what I've posted in the last 7 days and transform their lives, and they could be in a hut somewhere as long as they have internet access and a cell phone. And oddly enough, a lot of those people have probably an iPhone. They trade minutes because they don't have currency or banking. But cryptocurrency, if they have a cell phone, they've got banking, and they don't have to have an ID to do it. And that is a threat to this little cloistered power thing that we have as modern banking. But the vast majority of our fellow human beings do not have access to banking. That blew my mind when I found that out. Blew my mind. There's a crypto thing called Bankieri out of the Netherlands. They actually bought a commercial bank like 5 years ago, and their big mission was to bring banking to the unbanked through their cell phones and cryptocurrency. And I thought it was an incredible mission. And I had to use a VPN to buy some of their Bank ERA coins and stuff like that, and then they kicked me off from the platform because I was a US citizen, and they let me have a US citizen account, but I couldn't buy or transact with them because of the compliance issues. Go freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Unless you're a US citizen trying to operate as a global citizen on the planet. No, no, not allowed. Yeah, our freedoms have been infringed. I did a whole course on that. I went an hour and 40-minute rant on, I think, everything. I think I broadcast. If not, it's on YouTube. It's got a nice, they even did a nice little thumbnail on it. So go listen to that. Um, you need to grow your wealth hard and fast before they lock down your access, is my opinion. And that's what I'm going to do personally. That's my plan. And, but really, they're all these decision makers are looking through a lens of fear and scarcity, and they're making all of the decisions on our financial policy, military policy, justice policy, but justice is punishment, not reform, right? And we'll spend more money punishing somebody and returning a criminal under a concept of, well, they paid, served his time. We'll still return a criminal back into the world versus reforming the criminal and investing in them actually being a productive member of society. We're not even holding the right contexts in 2023. It's just it breaks my heart seeing it because I know there's alternatives, and I don't have a big enough voice to reach. Oh, maybe are we going to do it 3851? Ha! We're not going to do it because I need to wrap up. So anyway, everyone have a great night. Follow up on YouTube. Every once in a while, check in. Probably do a broadcast like this on all the platforms, just to let you know if I have a major update or major something. I'll do that. Otherwise, just please check me out on YouTube. Going to be backing off the twice a day thing, and I'm going to be working on the content and the training content so that when people, if I do start, pushing the Patreon subscription and things, there's even going to be more available there so that folks can get started. And right now, the bot spreadsheet that I'm using personally is there. It's been released, but there's more. There's more stuff. I need to get the security and the to-do list stuff there, and it's not there yet. It needs to be kind of a holistic package before I can like really pitch someone saying, "Hey, there's an organization here. Here's your starting point. And by the way, it's just $5." And I think the fact that it's just $5 is like, well, it must not be worth shit, right? And it's just like, well, I just demonstrated last week almost completing a mission with bots. I'm saying it's the mind game thing. It's we're human and we're marketed to crazily. And it's like, well, in order for that to work for me to achieve the objectives I want as an organization, the first goal is 3,333 subscribers, but really it needs to be 33,333 subscribers so I can outsource and hire and develop a team to support the ongoing development of all these different things that will help us change our world. And ideally, those will be around the world, not just in the US. It would be neat to have a power base in every single country in the world that are learning these principles that aren't based on fear and scarcity. So they can influence, right, better decision making. So they can become wealthy within their countries and influence better decision making because we're indigenous to this planet. Most people don't think that way. Oh, I was, well, David, are you, you're not indigenous. It's like, what do you mean? I was born on this land. Yeah. I had one of the sun dancers look me in the eye with the shaman saying, "Young man, you're indigenous to this land. This is your land. You were born here. We're in a sweat lodge together." And I never had felt accepted. And I was just totally touched from their belief system. So I studied their belief system for a while, and just they have a whole different context. We're indigenous to this planet, all of us. We all deserve universal human sentient civil rights. It shouldn't just be in the US Constitution was great about it. It says all. It doesn't say US citizens have these rights. It says all have certain unalienable rights. And for some reason we don't even understand that preamble. And it's sad because it's right there. It was brilliant for its time. It was revolutionary for its time. It's where they gave themselves the freedom to take everything that they saw that was going wrong with the planet and said, let's create something better with what we know. And they did. It wasn't perfect. They weren't perfect, right? And, it's 2023, and we have yet to live up to any of those principles, and we have cheated the indigenous of this land, but we've also cheated the indigenous of other lands. That we've been predators, and it's just crazy. It was all unnecessary, in my opinion. It was just all unnecessary. So that was my little extra rant for the night. Hope everyone has a great evening whenever you watch this and stuff. Shout out to folks on Twitch, and we'll wrap up here. No, these are the affirmations. These are I've been living these the last week. In fact, I was so tempted to just jump in and start the bot. It wasn't really FOMO. I just wanted to get in on the bot. The bot completed, what was it, 2 days ago, right? And then I set it up, and then it didn't dip, and then it dipped, but it didn't dip as far as I wanted it to. And I'm just like, patience is profit. And it's almost 4.75% ROI in, like, what, 12 hours or something like that? Maybe 13 hours? Yeah. Patience is profit. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't have made money if it would have activated. It's just, patience works. It's kind of cool. So help me conquer the world. Let me clarify that for the YouTube automated jacking. When I use the word conquer, I'm not referring to violence. I'm referring to ideology. Don't need to convert anyone to anyone else's ideology. I think all the ideologies have a core truth to them. We're rooted in the golden rule. Everyone knows it. Putin knows it. Everyone in North Korea understands the golden rule. In fact, Kim Jong Un, I mean, when he does his propaganda, he wants to look like a good guy. So he knows what a good guy looks like because he creates propaganda that kind of puts him in that light. Every major belief system on the planet has some version of the golden rule. We just don't live it or make our decisions by it because it's not a golden law. So again, the idea here is to create an international organization, that's feeding all sorts of money and concentrating power in some kind of cult thing or religious thing. Thought about it, might be easier to do it that way, but really it's about helping everybody that's associated with the organization become wealthy, and then create an organization that has a legacy that can make major decisions by consensus, but uses the leadership principles to go out and get things done. It's a really cool model that I developed 20 years ago for getting things done, where you had a pool of resources, consensus, right? And you had these big consensus type meetings, right? And then someone wanted to go on a mission, and they would bring that mission to the consensus, and a team would be formed, and they would go out and get it done. It'd be led by a team and a team structured, the traditional kind of thing, like a squad going getting it done, not a violence thing, but concentration, decision making. They didn't have to come back and report to the consensus to make decisions. No, they They were empowered to go do it, and they did, and they got stuff done, and mission accomplished. They come back up, they were, they debrief, we cheered it on, and then, we encouraged the new missions to make our little community a little bit better place. We did some really cool stuff under that concept. Imagine doing that globally, and that stuff can go way beyond me. And I don't need my I don't need a statue with his face on it. I mean, as cool as it is, and as you know, I look like Santa. Or if I take this off, I look like Odin. Right now, I'm kind of a hippie Odin Santa kind of thing. If I trim it all up and look really nice, I look like a guy my age that works with mainframe computers. That's not true because most of us got long hairs and beards. So anyway, but what most people think we look like. All right, everyone, have a good night. Till next time, which I don't know when that's going to be. Probably sometime later this week. Because the cycle is going to end and I'm going to have to report in because I just feel obligated to report in it. But I'll be reporting it in on the YouTube channel. And I think the link for that's in there. So just subscribe to it and all that good stuff. David out.